everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am doing a book unhaul. So I haven't done a book unhaul in a very long time, and I have about 24 books that I am planning to either donate or sell or whatever, just get rid of them. And these books are just books that I have like 2 or 3 books that I'm never gonna read. And then I have books I'm probably never gonna reread. And unfortunately, I am running out of shelf space, so I kind of do need to get rid of some books. I don't want to. I wish I could keep literally every single book that I've read and owned, but I don't have space, so I have to get rid of some books. So these are the ones I'm going to get rid of. There's not one book in here that I absolutely hate. They're just books I'm never really gonna reread. So let's just get into the unhaul. The first book is The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. I actually bought this when it came out and did read it. I barely remember anything about this book, to be honest. It's been years, so I am getting rid of this. I never continued on with the series either. I believe there are 3 books, but I just never continued on, so I'm getting rid of this one. I'm getting rid of The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I read this years ago when the second book had just come out, I think, and this was a bargain book. I got this for pretty cheap, but again, I don't really read fantasy that much. I'm very picky with fantasy nowadays, so I'm just getting rid of this because I'm not going to continue on with the series. This was an overhyped book and I didn't get it. That is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I read this because of the hype and I just didn't get it. I don't know. So I'm getting rid of this because I'm sure somebody would love to have this pretty hardcover edition. I am getting rid of Tiger's Curse by Colleen Hook. This I bought at Value Village, and it had been on my TBR for like the longest time ever because I had wanted to read this, I think, like back in like 2015 maybe. It was back in the day. And I finally read it and it was decent. I understand why people love this, but I'm just not going to continue, as I said. I'm also going to get rid of Reawakened by her as well. This was actually the first book that I read by Colleen Hook, and yeah, I mean, I love this cover. I think it's so pretty. This was pretty interesting. I just didn't really love the characters that much, so it's about Egyptian mythology. Next is Everything That Makes You, Mariah McStay, I think. I don't really remember anything about this, but I went through a phase where I started buying literally like every release that I was excited about. I went through this big phase. It was like before BookTube, and I would literally buy like every anticipated read that I had for each month, and this was one of them. And I don't know, like I literally bought everything brand new. Like, what was wrong with me? Like, why did I waste so much money on that? Because this was one of them and clearly it wasn't memorable for me. Another one I have is The Royal We by Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan. This I actually got for my birthday like 3 years ago, and no, it's got to be like almost 4 years ago. I was super excited to read this because I'd heard such good things, and I didn't actually really like it that much, to be honest, so I am getting rid of it because I'm not going to reread it. I am getting rid of Eleanor and Park and Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I just don't care about these books anymore. I loved them when I first read them, but I don't care to keep them on my shelves anymore. I just am never going to reread these, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to have these, so I'm just going to get rid of them. I have Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. I was super excited to read this when it first came out because this is a Red Riding Hood retelling. I always love the idea of retellings until I read them and I'm like, and that's how I felt about this one. It is a pretty book, but I'm never going to reread it, so I just might as well get rid of it. Same with Riders by Veronica Rossi. I loved the Under the Never Sky trilogy, so I was really excited about this book, but it was an interesting concept. Just didn't love it that much. Then I have Pretty Baby by Mary Kubica. Kubica, I think. Yeah, I've realized her thrillers are not for me. The only one I have truly loved by her is The Good Girl. The rest, I mean, I think I've only read this one and The Good Girl, but I realized after reading this that I am just not a fan of her writing style. So then I have Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. This is like a troll paranormal romance. I kept it for several years because I thought, oh, I'm gonna reread it at some point and like continue on the series. But I didn't even enjoy this book that much. I don't know, I keep holding on to it because the author is Canadian and I just feel like supporting Canadian authors, but I feel like this would be better in the hands of someone who would actually love it. I have Hexed by Michelle Chris. I kind of feel the same way about this as I did Stolen Songbird. She's Canadian, so I wanted to support her, but yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of the story. It does follow witches, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not... I don't need it anymore. I don't need to keep it. Walk on Earth a Stranger by Wade Carson. I love her... What's that series called? Girl, Fire and Thorns series. I love that series so much. So I was really excited for this one, but I didn't really enjoy it that much. It was very interesting, a different concept, but... you know how it goes. I'm getting rid of I Was Here by Gail Forman. I went through a huge phase of reading all of Gail Forman's books, and I don't know, this one just didn't stand out to me, so I've decided to part ways with it. Ask Me How I Got Here by Christine Hepperman, and this is a book like in verse, and it was really interesting, and it was kind of like my first book in verse. But it just didn't really pack the emotional punch that I thought it would. It deals with about a girl who gets pregnant and decides to have an abortion, and it just didn't pack the punch for me in a way that I thought it would. And yeah, I think I've actually had this in a wrap-up on my channel. A lot of these I read pre my booktube channel, but this one I believe I have in a wrap-up of... I think it was in a wrap-up of last summer. No, the summer before that. Same with American Girls by Allison Uminger. It just didn't do for me either. So I'm getting rid of that one. I have Tiny Pretty Things by Zona Karapotra and Danielle Clayton. It was interesting, but I didn't feel the need to continue on, so I'm getting rid of this one. I'm also parting ways with Things We Know by Heart by Jessie Kirby. This was like a cutesy, intense, contemporary, but I'm getting rid of it. I'm also getting rid of Deep Kiss of Winter by Kresley Cole and Gina Showalter because I actually already have this book and I didn't realize it. I bought this copy at a thrift store. I thought it looked different than the one that I have, which is over there somewhere, and it's not. It's the same thing. This is just in a hardback and the other one is in a mass market paperback. So yeah, I ended up literally wasting like $5 on this, but that's alright. My last 3 books are books that I have not read and don't have an interest in reading at all, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. The first one is Froy of the Exiles by Melina Marchetta, I think. I found this book at a thrift store and I was like, okay, I really want to read the first book. I might as well just buy this here now because I'm never going to find it anywhere. So I bought the second book and I don't have an interest in reading this series at all anymore. So I'm going to get rid of it. I haven't really heard the best things about it either. Like, I heard amazing things and then I've also heard other things. So I just don't have an interest in reading it anymore. The Lake House by Kate Morton. This was at the thrift store like a million times. I literally saw it there everywhere and I was like, okay, this is like gotta be destiny that I like need to read this. I bought it, I started it. Oh my gosh, I still have a bookmark in it. I read 22 pages and never continued on, so I'm just gonna redonate this to the thrift store because I just don't have an interest in reading it anymore. And the last one is The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. This I bought on bargain for $10. I thought it was like an amazing bargain, but I don't even know what this book is about, and I no longer care. I don't know, it's just, it's a massive book. I have a feeling I'm not going to like it at all. I have a feeling I'm not going to care, so at this point it's just, I might as well donate it because I already don't care, so, you know, that's how it is. Alright, so those are all 24 books that I am getting rid of. Yes, a lot of them, as you can tell, have to do with more of like my YA phase back in the day. I still read YA, but not obviously as much as I did back then, so I am getting rid of a lot of like YA books that I did read and didn't necessarily care for. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!